What's going on, everyone? My name is Jasmine. On today's episode of the Slain Project, we're going to be talking about the murder of 14-year-old Emily Pike. On Valentine's Day 2025, her remains were found in a pair of trash bags. Her killer dehumanized her by reducing her to a bag of trash. Police say that they have no suspects or persons of interest in this case. Don't forget to check out my other videos, and if you want to see more videos about missing and murdered Indigenous people, click that subscribe button and the notification bell. Now let's get right into it. North America has been plagued by the crisis of MMIW for hundreds of years. In the last 5 decades, more and more cases have been documented and reported in the media. The MMIW movement has swept across Canada and the United States in recent decades, but there are many layers to the root causes behind this national crisis, and this work is never ending. Emily Pike's case is reminiscent of the case of Tina Fontaine. She was a 15-year-old girl who was found murdered in Winnipeg, Manitoba in 2014. She was a runaway and was in custody of CFS before she was murdered. She was found wrapped in plastic and dumped in the Red River. Tina's murder sent a shockwave through Canada and brought the MMIW crisis into the national media spotlight. Calls for justice and change was demanded, but her accused killer would be acquitted of her murder. Calls for justice often go unanswered, and families have to deal with racial stereotypes that often blame the victim and their families. But the only person to blame for these horrific crimes are the ones who commit the rape and murder of our Indigenous women and girls. These cases do not make national news like the way Gabby Petito's case did, and this in turn causes most of the population to be oblivious to what is going on. Emily's case has been spoken about heavily in the Arizona media and is spreading across the country, but it still has not yet reached the national level yet. Families often have to fight by holding rallies, vigils, and walks to get the media to report on these cases and get the public to notice. But far too often, these cases are swept under the rug. But Emily's family will not go quietly into the night, and they want her killer to know this: they messed with the wrong people. Emily Pike was a 14-year-old girl who was full of life and excited for her future. Emily was born on May 16, 2010, and she was a member of the San Carlos Apache tribe. The reservation is located about 140 miles from Phoenix, Arizona. Emily is described by the people who loved her as a shy and quiet girl with a soft voice. She liked pink sparkly things, wanted to get a cat, and enjoyed playing Roblox. She did well in school and liked to paint. She had dreams of attending art school when she grew up. Emily held on to her hopes and dreams, even while living in a group home. The group home is located in Mesa, which is on the outskirts of Phoenix and is near the intersection of Mesa Drive and McKellips Road. The group home has not been publicly named to protect the privacy of the children who live there. It has never been stated why she was at the group home, but a former roommate has stated that more mental health resources were available to her there. The group home has been in operation for 24 years and houses children between the ages of 7 and 17. The group home has contracts with the Arizona Department of Child Safety, also known as DCS, and various tribes across the state. DCS has stated that Emily was not under their supervision, and it was later stated that she was under the supervision of the San Carlos Apache Social Services. Emily's former roommate has stated that she lived at the home for 4 years before leaving, and that Emily had lived there 2 separate times during that time frame. The roommate was still in touch with the other kids who lived at the group home and has stated that a church group was at the group home on the night of Monday, January 27, 2025. T believes that Emily used this as a distraction to sneak out of the group home. Emily was last seen at about 7:45 p.m. She walked out of the group home and was never seen alive again. It was never stated if this is the time when someone at the home actually last saw her, or if there was surveillance video of some sort that's seen her walking, because the Mesa PD has stated that they do have some sort of video. The roommate thought it was possible Emily wanted to go meet a boy that she met while taking guitar lessons. It is not publicly known where she may have met this boy because she was staying at the group home. Could he have been part of the church group or a classmate? On March 21, 2025, the media was able to obtain a copy of the original missing persons report filed on Emily. It said that the group home manager called Mesa Police on January 27th at 8:19 p.m. and said Emily had gone AWOL about 30 minutes prior. The manager said that Emily jumped out of her window because the screen was pushed out from the inside. The Mesa Police listed her as a runaway the same night she left. It has been stated that Emily had run away from the home 3 times prior. The group home manager also told them that Emily was found at Fitch Park the last time she ran away. Officers checked that park, but she was nowhere to be found. On January 28th, an employee at the group home would later confirm to police that Emily was on medication for mental health and behavioral issues. A statewide missing persons notice was sent out on Tuesday, January 29th. The group home has come under scrutiny because it has been revealed that in the last 3 years, the police have been called by them at least 80 times, and 30 of them were for missing persons reports. The 30 reports were for 18 different children, so some had went missing more than once. Besides the calls for missing children, there were requests for welfare checks and help with suicide attempts and sexual assaults. It was never stated if the assaults occurred at the group home itself. A spokesperson for the group home has said that there is not currently 30 active missing persons from the group home and that all have been accounted for. But a local news outlet recently uncovered that there is still one child who went missing from the group home who has not been found yet. Her name is Veronica Cruz, and she is 17 years old. Someone at the group home said that they think she is okay, but did not offer any details. They also said that she turns 18 next month. The group home did not respond to the media's questions on whether they are actively looking for her or plan to return her to foster care. The spokesperson went on to say that they are a hands-off facility and can only touch a child if they are in the process of trying to harm themselves, so they are unable to forcefully stop anyone who decides to leave. The proper procedure to report runaway or missing children at the group home is to notify the Mesa Police Department ASAP and to contact DCS within a day. But the rule does not extend out to tribal social services. The Mesa Police have said that it would be up to the group home to contact the missing child's case manager, who will then notify their families or tribe. The group home license is currently being reviewed by Arizona DCS, and the information on Google says permanently closed, but I have not read that they were officially shut down. The DCS have also added that at this time, they do not believe that anything the group home did or didn't do caused this terrible outcome in Emily's case. Emily's family would not be notified of her disappearance until a week after the fact. The police report obtained by the media stated that the group home received a voicemail on Sunday, February 2nd from an unknown person. This person said that Emily was with her mom, Stephanie Docella, on the San Carlos reservation. The case manager spoke with Stephanie, and she said that Emily was not there and that this was an old post. I am assuming she is speaking about something on social media. The case manager said Stephanie seemed worried because she had not heard from Emily. No Amber Alert was issued because there was no indication she was abducted. There also was no indication she went missing under suspicious circumstances, so she was just simply labeled as a runaway. Only after the voicemail was received is when someone finally spoke with Emily's family. It was never specified if this was an in-person conversation or over the phone. Why wouldn't the police or anyone supervising Emily check with her family first to see if she was there or made contact? They also could have questioned any neighbors who lived near the family. This may have compromised the case immensely because valuable leads may have been lost as a result, because most people cannot remember small details from a week ago, and any ring cameras along her route could have been deleted by then. Emily's family rallied to raise awareness of her disappearance and did everything they could to get the word out. On February 11th, 15 days after Emily disappeared, the group home finally told the Mesa PD about the voicemail they received on February 2nd. It was unknown why they waited so long to notify them, but you think it would have been the first thing they did after receiving the voicemail. This is just another tragic mistake because law enforcement has more resources, and maybe they could have located Emily if she was really on the reservation. She could have been hiding out there, and maybe her mom didn't know. This is all just speculation on my part. Almost 3 weeks later, on Friday, February 14th, 2025, and 23 miles northeast of Globe, Arizona, just off Highway 60, someone walking along an isolated forest road spotted some large black contractor-sized garbage bags. Inside were the remains of Emily. She was found nude with no jewelry or ID. She also had facial and head trauma. Police do not believe that she was killed at this location, and it was just a dump site. This exact location is described as being at Highway 60 and Forest Road 355, which is about a half mile or so from milepost 277. This area is extremely isolated, and the Forest Road is just off a large pullout area. The person who dumped Emily here may have been familiar with the area. This person would also need access to a vehicle because the location is almost 100 miles away from the group home. This indicates that the person who dumped her here was probably a bit older than her. The Gila County Sheriff's Office was called immediately, and because of the gruesome nature of the state of her remains, things were kept quiet until a positive identification was made. The case was quickly ruled a homicide, and in the meantime, the police worked to identify the remains. Because the autopsy said the remains were of a female teen or woman in her early 20s, law enforcement focused on missing persons reports from that age group. The BIA contacted the Mesa PD on February 19th to inform them that a Jane Doe was found, and they thought it was Emily. Her mother, Stephanie, was then contacted for a DNA sample. About a month after she went missing, Emily's family was informed that she was a victim of homicide. This was devastating for her family, but more was on the horizon. The Gila County Sheriff's Office was in charge of the investigation, and they were about to make a huge mistake. Someone within the department accidentally posted an internal memo on Facebook. The information was only supposed to be shared with other law enforcement agencies. In the memo, it described the exact state of Emily's remains. Her head and torso was in one bag, while her legs were in another. Her arms and hands have never been located. Some people speculate that her arms and hands are missing because she fought her killer and their DNA could be under her fingernails. Emily was only 4 feet 10 inches tall and about 115 pounds. It would be extremely easy for someone to overpower her. Authorities have never said if she was sexually assaulted or if that body part is also missing. As far as we know, nothing was found with her remains to identify her killer. Perhaps there was something found, but the killer is not in the CODIS system. Emily's mother has previously stated that the police have 3 suspects, but authorities have stated that they do not have any solid persons of interest or suspects. Emily's cousin also stated that she talked with her over the phone about a week or 2 before she went missing. Emily told her that she would be home on the San Carlos reservation in about a month. It was not specified if this was a planned release date or just a visit. The girls were excited and made plans to hang out when Emily returned. Because of this, some people also think that Emily may have been trying to get back to the res because the area where she was found at is in the same direction. It was never mentioned how Emily died or how long they believe she was killed before her body was found, and no weapon was located at the dump site. Was she murdered the same night she walked away from the group home? Was she trying to hitchhike home and was picked up by the wrong person? Was she held captive for a time before she was killed? The pull-out area near the road where her body was found is large enough for a semi-truck to pull in. If the person who did this is a truck driver, they could be hundreds and even thousands of miles away by now. It is possible that her arms could also show up a great distance away from the dump site near Globe. The fact that she was found in garbage bags means that the killer probably wanted to delay the discovery of her body and put distance between himself and the body. The Gila County Sheriff's Office, the BIA, the San Carlos Apache Tribe, the FBI, and the Mesa PD are all investigating. These agencies have all formed a special task force to catch her killer and have opened an online portal to collect tips. The task force is also investigating the death of a 31-year-old Native man named Leo Harry White. He was found shot to death on September 21, 2021. He was located in his car at milepost 277. Some describe this as the same location as Emily's dump site, but the exact location of milepost 277 is about a half-mile away.
Emily Pike's remains were recovered nearly 100 miles away from where she was last seen alive. And tonight we have learned it's not the first time that same area has been the site of a murder investigation. Could the cases be connected? Here's true crime correspondent Brianna Whitney.
We are right off the US 60 at milepost 277. This is where you go to start to get where 14-year-old Emily Pike's remains were found. And you can see here people have been out here bringing flowers, showing signs of support. But now we know in 2021, a Native man was found dead right here too, down to the same exact milepost, and confirmed tonight his murder is still unsolved too. I want to show you how close together these two crime scenes are. That's the US 60 behind me. We're now on Forest Service Road 355, and it's here that Gila County Sheriff's officials tell us this is where Emily Pike's remains were found. They tell us the 14-year-old's remains were discovered by people who were walking, hiking on this trail here, and that's who called police. Now we know they were found down here dismembered in contractor trash bags. Her hands and her arms are still missing. It's been more than a month now since they have been discovered. I talked to the Gila County Sheriff's Office today. Their officials and detectives tell me they're making progress in this case, but right now there are still several important unknowns they're trying to figure out.
We don't have a weapon. We've not recovered any kind of weapon. Cause of death is still under investigation by the ME's office. We're investigating those leads. None of those, as of yet, have pointed us to a definite suspect or person of interest.
The cries for justice for Emily have been loud. Several vigils held in honor of the San Carlos Apache teen who ran away from a Mesa group home she was living at on January 27th. The Gila County Sheriff's Office is getting help from many agencies, including the FBI, and new tonight, they've created an official task force on the case to funnel leads and tips. Well, now we've learned Emily's homicide is not the only one being investigated here. It was back in September of 2021 when the Gila County Sheriff's Office and DPS got a call and found a Native man shot to death multiple times in his car parked right here at milepost 277 off the US 60, just like Emily. Today we learned his murder is unsolved. Here's what we know. Sheriff's deputies identified him as 31-year-old Leo Harry White, a man from White River. He was found by DPS troopers and deputies after somebody called in a welfare check for the car in the pullout area. The detective telling me today there are some leads in his case, but no arrests in his murder either. Officials with the sheriff's office say there is one very key difference between Emily Pike and Leo White's murders.
It is a little different. In that one, it looks like the homicide actually took place there where the subject was found in a vehicle. This one with Emily, of course, we believe that she was killed somewhere else, and then that is where she was dropped off.
For that reason, and because of differences in the crime scenes, sheriff's deputies don't have any reason to believe these two cases are related, even though they are in the same area. and they are both open and ongoing. As part of that task force in Emily's case, GCSO is now taking tips on their social media pages, and they hope as people pour in information about Emily's case, maybe somebody will also have a tip about Leo White's murder and cold case too. Reporting in Gila County tonight, Brianna Whitney for Arizona's Family.
The FBI specializes in violent and abnormal crimes, and they more than likely have produced a profile on the killer. By examining the dump site and reviewing Emily's body, they can develop a profile of the killer and make educated guesses on what type of person they are, their habits, and what they might do for a living. Law enforcement initially stated that there is no immediate threat to the public, but by the formation of the task force, it does seem to indicate that there is a threat because there has not been an arrest yet. By uniting forces, information can be easily shared among the different agencies and can ensure that no leads will go unchecked. The person who killed Emily has more than likely killed before. Most killers do not start off by dismembering bodies. And if investigators think this person might be a serial killer, it is a major threat. Smart serial killers also move around and do not kill the same way each time. This could be a major problem if her killer operates like this. But none of this would be known if the sheriff's office did not make the tragic mistake of posting the eternal memo on Facebook. It sparked outrage among the MMIW community and released information that was only known to the killer. Several vigils have been held for Emily in Arizona and across Indian country. The demands for justice will not be silenced. The San Carlos Apache tribe is offering a $75,000 reward for the arrest and conviction of Emily's killer. Lawmakers in the state of Arizona are also working on passing House Bill 2281. This would create an alert system when an indigenous person goes missing in the state. This could have helped Emily if it was operational. Someone out there knows something, and you might hold the key to solve this case. Please contact the Gila County Sheriff's Office, the FBI, or submit an online tip through the task force's portal if you have any information. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you knew Emily, please share your memories down below, and I will see you in my next video.